This programme was made with the support of the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland.
I love the 40-foot regular swimmer here.
The 40-foot has a draw and a pull.
The 40-foot, where did it get the name from? Is a lot of people asking that, where does the name the 40-foot come from?
From dawn to dusk, you have people swimming here.
We've just been swimming in the 40-foot.
60 years I'm coming here to the 40-foot, and with Jez I never got tired of it.
Nothing, I'm completely mad. The water is freezing.
People here have one thing in common, and that is that none of them would be tolerated anywhere else.
I think mad people just tend to congregate together.
They're crazy. They're brave.
It is very, very cold. I don't want even know the temperature of the water.
Everything about the 40-foot, it's just magical.
I'm Paul Wright and welcome to the second programme of the 40-foot Where the Seabathers Go. The series which investigates the rich social and historical lore surrounding the celebrated 40-foot bathing place situated in South County Dublin. In our last programme we heard how the 40-foot depends for its survival on the Trojan work done on a daily basis by a hardcore body of die-hard 40-foot volunteers. They ensure the place is kept shipshape for all to enjoy. 40-foot volunteer Win Malloy.
The die-hard volunteers, like was in the morning basis, I guess there'd be maybe Tommy and Patty and the early birds who come down, and they would have to clean up after, especially in the summertime, evening time when you get gangs out, young people drinking and whatever, and maybe smashing their glass bottles rather than putting them in the bins, because there are bins here, and the nasty bits cleaning up as well. Needless to say, they had to be exceedingly careful, and there's the painting. It's just the sweeping, and it's housekeeping. The same things you've got to do in your house, you've got to do here. You've got to keep it neat and clean and tidy, so that everybody can.
Except it's a massive house. This is a mansion.
It's
not just a small little pokey, whatever, a 2-room terrace or whatever.
No,
this is a big area to be.
It's not a 2-room terrace, and it is a big area. But then, if more people muck in, the better it is.
The last paid caretaker of the 40-foot was in 1963. However, nowadays, the caretaker's duties are done by many selfless volunteers. The 40-foot receives money through voluntary public subscriptions and donations. In 1922, the Sandy Cove Bathers Association began putting out a collection plate for visitors to make donations when they visited. And this plate still remains today at the entrance to the 40-foot. But more than anything else, the 40-foot survives for its upkeep on selfless volunteerism by many men and women who help out because they love the place.
On the ocean blue and the tidal swell, each special day is cast forever in remembrance, where magic memories last. The 40-foot is a place of charm when the tide is still and high. May we linger here and swim a while as the lovely seagulls fly.
On a May day in 1994, a visitor from Australia arrived at the 40-foot. He studied the place with a critical eye and had but one query for those present. From Dublin originally, the man as a boy and adolescent had swam regularly at the 40-foot, and this was his first time home in almost 40 years. He wanted to know where the sign was. Despite the absence of so many years, he still remembered the words on that sign, alas, no longer on display. That day he recalled them, and they go as follows.
Fork out a dowel for the 40-foot howl, towards the cost of the upkeep. Before you dip, the little tip, remember your comfort here, costs something, my dear.
Be a little sign there about share a dough for the 40-foot hole, like every helps, like all that going. So a little sign there, but it worked.
40-foot volunteer Tommy Ryan.
Coming down here, like you meet loads of people, and the best thing about down here is there's only first names. It can be a pauper, you can be really there, and you're all treated the same down there. All the same with the clothes off and the dog. It's only just Jack, Tommy, or whatever the names like, and that's all it is. And you come down here and you have a bit of crack with everybody, laughing, you know. That's the way it goes down there. But it's very interesting, the amount of people that come down. I'd like to have one of these, you know, the counters that just click to see how many people just come in and out. Because it's a great place. And the amount of people that come in and out every not when a good summer's day, it's extraordinary, you know. And I say, we try to keep it clean, like, and we put up signs about no dogs and all that, like, you know. And keep the place clean, like just the environment friendly, bins like for bottles and all that, you know. We just try to keep it clean, like, and everybody helps down here, which is great, you know, and everybody think gets a little kick out of it.
The 40-foot is indeed a unique and special place, where countless volunteers have selflessly ensured its upkeep down the years. 40-foot enthusiast Martin Miller explains some of the hard work which he was involved with some years back.
I saw a picture, a pre-war picture, of a man coming around the back of the 40-foot, coming down the slip in Sandy Cove, and a horse, and I was wondering how you could get a horse around there, a horse and car. And then I noticed that there was no water, so I rang the meteorological office, and they said about once every 100 years, the tides and the high pressure comes in, and it's happening. So I said it was the one coming up. So in 1991, I got it organised. I took their advice and listened, and being a seaman, I watched out for the tides and watched, and then I suddenly saw we're going to have a huge. So I commandeered £1,400 and brought in fellas with high max, and it got them to come down the slip. The tide went out, I would say, like I said, once in a century. It went down an extra 20 feet, and I was out. So I was ready to get the machines on the back. They could only follow the water in and follow the water out. So they could only work maybe 3 to 4 hours a day. And in 3 days we took out 3,000 tonnes of rocks out the back and cleared the passage completely. And all that rock is all dumped over now behind the wall in Sandy Cove, making the great breakwater. But they said it couldn't be done. It's been done.
3,000 tonnes?
Tons of rock.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. Over how many days, Martin?
3 days, that's all. Over 3 days.
God, you must have been working like tigers.
No, I wasn't. I contractors were doing it, and they had machines and all these machines for lifting heavy boulders and that, and they had a couple of trucks. They only had, and then they had what do you call them, for shifting sand, all that kind of stuff. And we managed to get 3,000 tonnes out.
And another hard-working 40-foot volunteer is prior speaker Wynne Malloy.
Well, the heavy-duty maintenance the men do, like the reconstruction of things would get damaged and that, but so I don't get involved in that at all. I'm involved in the garden side of it. That started about 5 years or so ago, and it's just a matter of, you know, coming along, spending some time in it every day. The joyful things, planting, seeing it coming out. The not nice things, people who allow their dogs to use it as a public loo.
Right. In other words, if any listeners hear that have dogs that like to, whatever, frequent the 40-foot, watch out.
I'm not a happy bunny when I have to clear that up.
And staying with talk of flower beds, Wynne also had this to say.
Well, we're very pleased that the winter hasn't destroyed the garden completely, because it's been such a hard winter, and it's been an absolute joy to see the daffodils, and the tulips are coming up, and there's roses
blue.
are coming to
That's
come.
right, you got
grape hyacinths, and of course the everlasting silver leaf. It's really nice. It takes the planting season is probably the hardest, and then you've got to maintain it, you've got to feed it, and you've got to water it, and weed it, of course. And it's such a joy to see. The work is well worth it, because when you come around the corner and it's here and it's looking great, it's just good to see. And I think it also tells people that, like, we like this place, we look after it, and if you set a standard that, you know, we like this place, this is our place, please come and join us. Don't respect it, don't trash it. And I think I hopefully gives out that message to people as well, that we love our place. It's
Fantastic.
A little bit of heaven.
Yes, the 40 Foot, a seabathing place lapped by the moody and fickle waters of Dublin Bay. A place where each day people come to escape the hurly-burly of our high-tech, speeding world. But how exactly did the 40 Foot get its name?
I actually found this out. I thought it was maybe because it was 40 foot deep or 40 foot this. It was actually apparently now because there was a regiment here called the 40 Foot Soldiers Regiment, and they wanted a swimming hole, so they dynamited it here. But it was named after I believe it was named after the regiment, the 40 Foot Soldiers, and that's where it got its name. Although I heard that from my uncle, and he probably had a couple of whiskies at the time, so I'm not sure if he was pulling my leg, but that's the story I heard.
Because the sound here is 40 foot deep, so that's why. Just off here on the charts, it's a 40 foot trough, so that's the reason why it's called the 40 foot. So, as far as I know.
I think it's the 40th Foot Infantry Regiment of the British Army who used to come down here and bathe. But I don't want to be the one who gets it wrong on radio.
Some people say the road is 40 foot wide out there. The joister's there is 40 foot high. It's, you know, so. But the main thing is what they're saying is there was a battery station, a regiment station up there, and the battery was a 40 foot regiment.
And what is clear from the conflicting views of prior speakers is that much mystery exists as to how exactly the 40 Foot got its name. Now, to get a more authoritative answer, I recently met up with historian Peter Pearson in his County Wexford home. Some years ago, Peter co-wrote a definitive book on the 40 Foot entitled The 40 Foot, a Monument to Seabathing.
The name, I mean, there is a lot of debate about the name, and some people traditionally said, well, there's a 40 foot depth of water there, but seemingly there isn't directly off the rocks. It's about 20 foot deep, but perhaps further out there's a 40 foot hole. And in fact, one of the descriptions of the place in I think an OPW lease, it was called the 40 foot hole, meaning like a kind of a hole in the seabed. And if you look at old charts, a lot of the coast around Ireland, you'll see holes mentioned, the 40 foot hole. The Pollock hole is a popular, for instance, here in the Hook Head in Wexford, you have the Pollock hole and the Trout hole or whatever, and these are places where fishermen frequently, they were popular places to fish. So, I mean, that's a possibility, but as I said earlier, I think the 40th Foot Regiment is possibly a stronger candidate for the name, that people got to know that the 40th Foot were there, and they said, oh, the 40 foot are down there, they're in the tower and they're in the battery, and people say, oh, that's where the 40 foot are. And I think that's a more plausible explanation.
Just how the place got its name, no one is now quite sure, but legend tells from ancient times that people swam these shores. Yes, down the age above the tide, that high grey rock did tower, inviting all who came along to linger for an hour.
And whatever about the rights and wrongs of how exactly the 40 Foot acquired its name, which perhaps will always remain a mystery, the fact nevertheless remains that hundreds of people each year love to visit the place on a regular basis and throw themselves into the refreshing waters of the Irish Sea. So what exactly are the benefits, if any, of daily immersion in the sea? Dr. Anna Mara, who is herself an inveterate 40-footer, shares her views.
All I can say is I would probably get less coughs and colds in the winter than my colleagues, and it's because my sinuses are being irrigated by salt water, and there's nothing better than salt water, the old-fashioned remedies, to keep colds at bay.
Here's a few more 40-foot enthusiasts to share their views.
I regard the swimming in the sea as medicinal, highly medicinal. It's as good as any doctor. I've had 2 heart bypass operations and I'm surviving, largely due to the exercise. And I would recommend it to any of your listeners. So get out there and get moving.
As far as I can see now, just from my own observation of my own swimming, it seems to boost the immune system, because my husband's an invalid and I was in and out of the hospital with the VRE, the MRSA, all of those things, and I never seemed to catch a bug in there, and he was there for a whole year. So I really do think it boosts your immune system. I think it's the salt going through your tube seems to cleanse the whole thing. You know, if your face is in the water, and so the salt water goes up your nose and that, and you blow your nose and you come out, you seem to clear all your tubes, and you don't seem to catch cold. And I think it's fantastic, really, for that. I don't remember having a cold now for quite some years, and that's great, really.
The heart is only a muscle after all, and if you don't exercise the muscle, it will get flabby and it will eventually pack in. So like the engine of a car, you've got to keep it, you've got to service it, and the 40 foot is my servicing, as you might say.
It gives you energy, actually.
An energizer.
Just give you. Well, see, this is what the Irish rugby players go over to Poland to do when they go into these cold rooms and they spas over there. We do this exactly the same thing here every day of the year. And if you have any bruises, or for example, if you have a hangover and you come out of that water, particularly in the winter time, you're like a 2-year-old. Bruises are gone, hangovers gone.
It cheers you up for the whole day, like, you know. I've been swimming and I never get a flu injection or like that, because but maybe my own thing is that I never get cold or flu, because the winter swimming helps me keep all the viruses away.
Well, I think it makes you stronger health-wise, and you just build up an immune system to colds and flus, and we never get colds. Anyone I know that swims here, they never get colds. They're just so healthy. They might come out looking like a lobster, but they're very healthy people.
Research has shown that cold water therapy, otherwise known as plunging into the frigid waters of a freezing Irish Sea, in 40-foot parlance, can have many positive benefits, including: first, the reduction of the risk of heart disease, since cold water helps prevent clots forming in the coronary arteries. Second, stimulation of the immune system, since the immediate immersion in cold water, particularly in the depths of an Irish winter, is akin to an electric shock, thus recharging a person's energies, in particular those suffering fatigue. Third, promotion of sexual health, because it is well known that cold water therapy causes increases in the production of testosterone, estrogen and fertility cells. Ironically, therefore, the traditional cure for curbing the sexual urge by taking cold showers may have the effect of reducing the desire in the short term, but increasing it in the long term. And fourth, retardation of aging, since cold water therapy slows down the aging process.
I hereby sing of the 40 foot, a bathing spot renowned, situate in Sandy Cove, just south of Dublin town. If you descend her rocky steps alongside Dublin Bay, it's swimmers galore you'll find there every hour of each fine day. In bathing togs all sizes and many colours too. If it's thrills and spills you're after, this is the place for you. Where people from all walks of life assemble, I declare, to swim the chilly Irish Sea while others stand and stare.
But whatever medical research may say, one thing is for sure. The regular all-year-round 40-foot bather is dedicated to cold water therapy and has a kind of uncomplicated approach to the affair. Straight into the cold water and no messing around.
This is mind over matter. You get up in the winter morning, it could be snowing or pouring rain, and you just say, I'm going down now. You don't think about it. You come down here, watch the people here. They tug out, they don't put their toe in the water, they don't test it, they just go straight in. And there's a huge element of mind over matter. I'm just going to do this. Don't think about it. And you come out then like you feel like you're going to race in the 2,000 guineas.
My name is Gillian Duffin. The water is sensational. It's really vibrant and enlivening thing to do. It's not as cold as you think, and not black and blue like you get at Christmas.
And Gillian, would you recommend this to the people at home?
Absolutely. At least once a week.
Well, that's you have me sold. And I mean, when you say vibrant and sensational, I mean, how vibrant, how sensational?
Well, every single organ in your body gets a shock and goes.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
And gets into full working capacity. You know, the whole body just goes boom.
I really love my swim. It just makes me feel, I suppose, I'm not young anymore, and it makes me feel like a teenager again every day.
Maureen, also, what is it about the water, that you love so much?
A sort of a spiritual experience. It's just wonderful. It makes me feel, as I said, young and keeps me going. And then there's such companionship down here. I've made such lovely friends, and I've had my troubles in my life. I had 2 bereavements, and I don't think if I swam, I wouldn't have been able to survive it. It has really, really helped me. You can overcome an awful lot when you have, this experience. A boost. Marvellous boost. So it does. You come down and you're tired and you go home. I can actually go home and clean my house and do everything, and I'm grand. But the trouble is now I'm getting to the age I could actually do 2 swims a day to boost me up. One is not sufficient anymore.
Right.
Sometimes when I'm tired in the evening in the summer, I run down and I have a swim, and I come home again and I can just do anything, work away, and great.
And I think we'll all agree from the views just expressed that a cold water plunge most certainly results in a feeling of well-being. It may also result in health benefits due to the physical stimulus, or it may be all just in the mind. However, if it is an illusion, then it should not be forgotten that the interrelationship between mind and body is not fully understood.
It's known that mind and body are dependent on each other. But where mind begins and body ends, we never may discover.
Swimming in the icy brine, each waking winter hour, those 40-footers love their time in the cold sea's awesome power. In every sort of nasty climb, hail, wind or snow, you'll catch those tough and hardy types braving the depths below.
And to discover more about Dublin's famed 40-foot, including how the old 40-foot world order of gentlemen only, women not allowed, was eventually overthrown, then make sure to catch our next number 3 programme in the 6-part 40-foot series. This programme was made with the support of the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland. Songs and music by Cliff Wedgbury.
I said to my wife the other day, I said, I'm fed up. I said, I want to go for a holiday. I'm really fed up and I want to change. And she said, why don't you try the kitchen?
The 40 foot is special because of the depth of the water.
I love the 40 foot regular swimmer here.
The water is sensational. It's a really vibrant and enlivening thing to do. It's not as cold as you think.
The history goes way, way back.
I taught my son and my grandsons how to swim down here.
It's brilliant. Keeps you young at heart.
There's a lot of history attached to it.
Dunleary and its coast is so special and so close to a main city, to a capital city.
Very special place to me, and a very historic place.
Where did it get the name from? Is a lot of people asking that, where does the name the 40 foot come from?
It's the most extraordinary amenity. I mean, it's deep water swimming, and it's particularly exhilarating when it's full tide.
The atmosphere in the 40 foot is really fantastic.
On the ocean blue and the tidal swell, each special day is cast forever in remembrance, where magic memories last. The 40 foot is a place of charm when the tide is still and high. May we linger here and swim a while as the lovely seagulls fly. Come all you Bowland lovers and listen to my song. It's only 13 verses, so it won't detain you long. It's all about the 40 foot, a bathing spot sublime, where many a brave sea bather likes to pass the time. I hereby sing of the 40 foot, a bathing spot renowned, situate in Sandy Cove, just south of Dublin town. If you descend her rocky steps alongside Dublin Bay, it's swimmers galore you'll find there every hour of each fine day. In bathing togs all sizes and many colours too, if it's thrills and spills you're after, this is the place for you, where people from all walks of life assemble, I declare, to swim the chilly Irish Sea while others stand and stare.